All right, Mariella. Andy, one of my biggest requirements is to have a good boss. I love it. Top 3 reasons why somebody like you, Mariella, quits their job. I don't believe in the corporate strategy anymore. I'm not learning anything, and I don't like my boss. How do I go about finding answers to this question when I am sure every boss will say that they are fair and awesome? Mika echoed on Mariella's question. How do we get the dirt? Let's do it this way. For both of you, high-powered women, in the boot camp, I show you how to assess an employer's cultural behavior. Check that out. No, I'm not going to leave you there, but go check that video because I give you the different techniques I would use to ascertain a boss's approach. Okay, Andy, it's really important for me that I work with a great boss. I want to work with somebody I love, respect, and can learn from. And I think a lot of that has to do with your working style. So what do you expect of the people that work with you? Start there, softball, get them talking. Okay, so how do you communicate those expectations? Is it different if somebody's really senior, seasoned, or versus junior? What's the difference? What's the best thing somebody on your team accomplished? Okay, separate line of questioning. This past year, what is it? Did they do it on your own or did you influence them? What kind of guidance did you give them? Checkpoints? Like you're going after actual information. Don't ask them, right? What's your expectations? I want actual information. What do you expect? Right? Don't go into, well, what's your style? Right? You have to give the specific scenario that you want detail for. So, Andy, it's really important that I work in a collaborative environment. This is not the question, it's a statement, right? I want a boss who's collaborative. And right, because it's important that I'm a senior woman, I want to have an impact. You didn't ask a question yet. You're laying down the groundwork. And I'd love to know, what's your philosophy on collaboration? Okay, let them answer the philosophy question. And then say, because you're going to get something like this. Oh, my door's always open. I want to hear your ideas. They still haven't told you anything yet because that's what they believe in their own head. And you're not looking for their philosophy. You're looking for evidence that supports the fact that they are collaborative. So what you're doing is first you're getting this out to get them talking. And once you got them talking, they start to relax. They know the topic. They know where they're going, right? Where they think they're going. And, and I really try to promote that because on my weekly team meetings, we all get together on Fridays for lunch and we have pizza and we go around the table and I listen to their ideas. I still have not given you not one iota of evidence that I'm collaborative. This is what's going on in my mind. I'm not trying to lie to you, but based on the way you asked that question, I'm responding in kind. Okay. And that's really great. But Andy, geez, if you went to the pizza party and all you did was listen to their ideas and just told them what to do, and then everybody had their marching orders and they went out for the week and did it, that's not collaborative, right? So you're not going to say that. You're going to say, well, and I think one great sign of, because you're talking positively, of a collaborative team is, when you're willing to take on new challenges, and you're really listening to the team member. When was the last time that somebody on your team, came up with an idea that you weren't totally in support of, but you let them jump in both feet and you supported it? Okay, if it takes him longer than 5 seconds to come up with something, he's not collaborative. Okay, you are always asking questions to elicit evidence of the fact. You now need to tell me a story about when you did that. What is this akin to? Do you not all get asked behavioral interviewing questions? How are they designed? To let you choose, right, the story that you're going to tell me about a past behavior. Are you not asking the boss to tell you about his or her past behavior? Okay, this is really important. If you don't know what questions to ask, and by the way, some of you I know are out there. I haven't looked at this chat and I can't wait till we watch this thing today. But if you thought what I said, like if that made you cringe, you got to remember that only 7% of communication is the words you use, right? I could smile and my body language or whatever, right? 7% is the words, right? 38% is the tone, 55% is the body language, Albert Morabian's rule of personal communication. Right. So how you ask what you ask, or how you say what you say, is just as important as what you say or ask. So what you're doing is you need to understand how to set them up, and then what to ask them when you got them there. And you're looking for evidence, and do not let them off the line of questioning until you get what you need. And if you think that this is intrusive, then you are not really allowing them to play fairly with you, because if they get to do it to you, you get to do it to them. What did I say? What did I say to kick all this off? This is about making a good choice about whether this is a good company and a good company for you. If you're going to go and work for a boss who's not collaborative, who cannot come up with an example within a few seconds of what I just put in front of you, then they're not really collaborative. Okay, so you've got to stand fast and hold firm when you get into that situation. You got to make sure that your line of questioning is fair, but it can be firm. And I want to know, right? What did they do? How did you contribute? I want to know, who was the last person you fired? Why did you fire them? If you hear things like, well, because they were a poor performer, then okay, what could you have done to improve their performance? Any boss who's not going to take responsibility for having to fire somebody is a bad boss. I don't care how bad that person was. Then you go back to, well, did you recruit them? Right? Did you pick poorly? What could you have known in the beginning when you were recruiting that person that you would have looked for or done differently? If you ask me the last person I would fire, that I fired, I would immediately make it about me. You know, we had this situation and the person wasn't performing well. And as much as I take as much responsibility for that, because I tried to make sure that I gave them what they needed. I helped them in this or that. I would have done this or that. I mean, you have got to look for where they lean in the responses. And so what I would do is, especially as it relates to the boss, is I would look at all the traits that I wanted for a boss. I do this with people when we prep the one-to-ones. A lot of times when I'm working with somebody specifically, and we will look at who they're going to be going and speaking to, and we look at all the traits that they want in a particular boss, and then we give them the line of questioning and how to go about doing that, and then we give them backup plans just in case they get skittish in the interview. But you have got to know, what are my questions? The only way for you to have all this in order and not lose your train of thought when you're under duress is to have that spreadsheet, or have a Microsoft table or a list or something, and have it with you in the session, and make sure that you can look down at it. You're asking questions, right? You're just looking at your list of things you want to check off. So that's the way I go about that stuff. It's really important that you're getting at it, and the questions need to be designed to elicit evidence of the fact. Right? Philosophy's nice, but people are always going to give you the best, right? I love my people. I'm really supportive. I have an open door policy. You and everybody else. So that's a great question, both of y'all.